Welcome back, guys, to We Talk Boxing. And in this video I'm going to be giving you guys my pre-fight thoughts, analysis, and hopefully just a little bit of a prediction as well in how I feel that this fight between Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez is going to take place. Now it will be in New York, and again this will be shown live here in the UK on Sky Sports. Obviously, if you from New York sides and stuff like that, it will be on ESPN. So now, before I continue with this video, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment and share for more boxing related content and help us grow this channel even further. So as I said at the start of this video, this fight, will be fought in New York. Now, Josh Taylor isn't a stranger to fighting away from home, which his home is obviously in the UK. He's fought 3 or 4 times now, in America. So this won't be his first time fighting in America. So I don't feel that this is going to affect him too much. Do you know what I mean? His first ever professional bout, was in America. I think it was in El Paso and something like that in America. But anyway, he's no stranger to fighting away from home, and he's fought against some good opposition as well away from home. So for him, it's just going to be another strong performance, hopefully. But for Teo, on the other hand, do you know what I mean? Obviously, he has to come out and probably put on a good performance. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't fought outside of America. You know what I mean? So realistically, this is his backyard. Do you know what I mean? So he's gonna want to put on a performance for his fans. Now, you know what I mean? Like, in regards to where both of these guys are at in their career, both guys have had the same amount of fights. They both had 19 fights. Josh Taylor is currently undefeated. You know what I mean? So he's 19-0 with 13 KOs to his name. Whilst his opponent, you know what I mean, Teofimo Lopez, is 18 wins with 1 loss on his record. He's got 13 KOs to his name. His only loss, do you know what I mean, came in 2021, which was against George Kambosos Jr. And that was for, you know what I mean, pretty much the undisputed titles, near enough, give or take. It was for the IBF, WBA, and WBO at the time. It was in New York, so it was a home performance for Teofimo Lopez, but he lost by a split decision. I watched that fight as well. Very close fight to score, but you know what I mean, I would have gave the fight to George Kambosos Jr. anyway. But that's where both guys are currently at. Now, since that loss, you know what I mean, since Teofimo's loss, he's fought twice since then. Do you know what I mean? Both fights came in 2022. His first one was against Pedro Campa, and the second one was against Sandor Martin. He won both fights, do you know what I mean? So on the record, he won both fights, but most people would argue that he just doesn't look the same type of fighter. It looks like there's something missing from Teofimo Lopez. Like in the first fight against Pedro Campa, do you know what I mean? That was pretty much his debut at 140. Do you know what I mean? Just to kind of see how he kind of handles the weight, etc. And he come out, yeah, he got a 7th-round TKO, but up until that point, it was kind of struggling. Do you know what I mean? Until he got his man out there. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. He then obviously went on to fight Sandor Martin. Now this fight was heavily, you know what I mean? It was so close. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a split decision, and you know what I mean? Most people thought that Sandor Martin should have got the decision, but he didn't. Do you know what I mean? And Teofimo, you know what I mean? To this stage, only has that 1 loss on his record. But again, his last 2 performances haven't been to where we know it could potentially be. Whereas Josh Taylor, on the other hand, you know what I mean? As I said, he is 19-0. But in his last fight, which was against Jack Catterall in 2022, now realistically, Josh Taylor should have a loss on his record. Do you know what I mean? Because Jack Catterall won that fight hands down. You know what I mean? And that was for the undisputed titles for all the bouts. So it was a tricky one. Do you know what I mean? Jack Catterall up until that point wasn't an unknown, but do you know what I mean? Was pretty much an emerging talent, and Josh Taylor kind of said that he kind of probably didn't take him serious and stuff like that, but it was just a performance. It was a flat performance from Josh Taylor. Do you know what I mean? He was the champion. He was the man in the division, even though he kind of still kind of is. And he just didn't put on that performance that night. And again, he won a split decision victory where he should have, as I thought anyway, he should have had an L on his record. So that's an interesting one, really. Do you know what I mean? And he hasn't really been that active since 2019. Do you know what I mean? I think 2019 onwards, he's only had one fight per year. Do you know what I mean? His longest delay outside the ring, except his recent one, do you know what I mean, was 11 months, and that was between 2019 and 2020. So he had 11 months off, and which is quite a long time in boxing. But I guess it is what it is. But since he's fought Jack Catterall, this would be what, roughly, I think it's 1 year and 3 months. So there's a big difference, you know what I mean, between the activity there. And don't get me wrong, yes, you know what I mean, he should have fought Jack Catterall. I think it was earlier this year, he should have fought Jack Catterall. But obviously that fight got, you know what I mean, cancelled, and you know what I mean, it was a bit disappointing for the fans, etc., etc. But it is what it is. It's boxing. Do you know what I mean? Now, in regards to the physical stats between both guys, Josh Taylor is the older man. You know what I mean? I think he's 32 or 33. Whilst TL, you know what I mean, he's a young pup really. He's 25 years of age. But Josh Taylor is the one who has the height and the reach advantage. You know what I mean? He's the taller man. He's 5'10" according to BoxRec. And TL is 5'8" again according to BoxRec. And he has the bigger reach as well, so 69.5-inch reach, Josh Taylor, compared to a 68 for Teofimo Lopez. Now, both guys started their career roughly around the same time. Josh Taylor in 2015, Teofimo in 2016. So, you know what I mean, as I said earlier, they both have had the same amount of bouts. But Josh Taylor has had a little bit more rounds, you know what I mean? He's had 115 compared to, I think, Teo, he's had about roughly 110. Was it one? Yeah, 101, sorry. Now, the KO percentage is, again, according to BoxRec, the same. Do you know what I mean? Both guys have got a 68.4% KO rate, which, again, they both got 13 KOs on their record. So, yeah, it's the same. Now, it's a close, the both guys are very closely matched. Do you know what I mean? But as I said earlier, realistically, Josh Taylor is still considered the man in the division. Do you know what I mean? Now, the Ring magazine have him listed as number one. You know what I mean? The champ. Sorry, the champ. Prograis is number one. And obviously in the ring ratings, Lopez has been slotted in there quite nicely, number 9. Now, Josh Taylor obviously is the WBO champion currently. Do you know what I mean? So he's not ranked in any of the other governing bodies. Whereas Teofimo Lopez, do you know what I mean? He's ranked number 1 in the WBO rankings. And I don't believe, just double checking, I don't believe he's ranked in any of the other governing bodies at the moment, Teofimo Lopez. But he has obviously moved up from the lightweight division of 135 pounds. So, I mean, he's only had a few fights at 140 so far, so I'm guessing after this fight he'll be ranked even more, etc., etc. But as I said, Josh Taylor was the man in the division. He was the undisputed champion, but he's vacated or been stripped, you know what I mean, regardless of how you want to say it, of 3 of his titles, the WBA, WBC, and the the IBF. Do you know what I mean? So 3 of his titles are gone, whereas there's now 3 more champions in the division. I think it's Mateus, you got Prograis, and you got Rolly Romero. So again, it's opened up the division, which is quite interesting. And again, it's a good thing really, because there are some other guys in the division who, you know what I mean, are going to want to try and contest and maybe be 2 division champions as well, such as Ryan Garcia, who's looking to come up. I feel at some point Devin Haney may look to come up as well, which is going to be interesting. But I feel that if Josh Taylor wins this fight, do you know what I mean? I can't see him trying and recapture all them belts. I honestly see him maybe his next fight, maybe moving up to 147. And if he does move up to 147, there's going to be some good fights there for him. There's some, again, good British level fighters within that division as well. You've obviously got what's his name, the English guy. You got Liam Taylor, who's okay, and you got the McKinson, is it? I think it's McKinson. I think I said that right. And then you've got Eckerman as well. And obviously you can't forget Conor Ben, but again, whether or not he's going to compete this year with the ban, etc., we don't really know. But anyway, I don't want to long this video out too much. Do you know what I mean? Now I'm going to give my prediction in regards to the fight itself. Now all week, obviously, I've been watching these guys on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, we go back and forth with the trash talking and, you know what I mean, the press conference, the antics, etc., etc. Both guys are very confident and are up for this and are motivated for this fight. Do you know what I mean? I just hope that the camps have gone really well, because it's quite hard for us as boxing fans and commentators, etc., and people like that to kind of gauge to see how these guys are, because we've only seen what we're seeing, like what they're doing away from the cameras, like putting in the work and improving on their skills and getting fit and all that sort of stuff. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? So all we have to go on is obviously their last performances, their styles, and hopefully what they're pretty much saying to us in the media. Now, as I said, both guys are confident and motivated. Do you know what I mean? But last night I literally watched the head-to-head and the final weigh-in, etc. And for me, I just feel that Josh Taylor's coming out of his shell now. You know what I mean? These last couple of hours, I think you know what I mean, he knows he has to go in there and put on a really good performance and do a job against, you know what I mean, a very strong fighter in Teofimo Lopez. And I don't believe he's going to take Teo lightly as well he did with Jack Catterall. So I do think we're going to see a good performance, very good performance from Josh Taylor, which makes me think that Teo has to come out, do you know what I mean, and do the same. His last two performances, if he goes in there with what he did in the last two performances against Josh Taylor, he's got to come unstuck. Do you know what I mean? He could get stopped, even though he's quite durable. So I do feel as if he's going to bring quite a lot to the fight as well, which hopefully should make it a good fight overall. A very competitive fight from the get-go. I feel this is going to go the distance, and I feel Josh Taylor is going to win it on points. I just feel that he's going to probably just outwork, you know what I mean, Teofimo at times, and maybe land just more shots, more of the eye-catching shots to maybe just take, you know what I mean, the judges' perception and of that he's winning the fight, etc. In regards to fighters getting dropped and stuff like that, obviously both guys can punch, but I just feel as if it's going to be more of a boxing chess match. Yes, they're going to try and mix it, but I just feel as if I feel this will go the distance. As I said, Josh Taylor will win it on points. And as I said earlier, I feel as if he will move up to the 147 division at the end of this as well. But you guys can let me know your thoughts. Do you know what I mean? How do you see this fight going? You know what I mean? Who do you think's going to win? By what method? Points, KO, stoppage? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, please subscribe and like and comment and share for more boxing related content. Bless.